Hi everyone, Jeff Lee here, Program Manager of TMS at Connects, back once again with Jessica Vann, founder and CEO of Maven Recruiting. Today, we're talking about job seeking tips and tricks. Starting off, Jessica, how does a recruiting firm like Maven Recruiting help job seekers obtain, prepare for, and secure a position?
Yeah, I love this question. So I think there's a lot of things, but a great recruiter, first and foremost, is an avid listener and an incredible sounding board and mirror for your job search and also for what's potentially available to you that you didn't even think about or realize. So I can't I can't even begin to tell you the number of times we've been able to meet with people and introduce an idea or a thought or question. Well, you say that you want X, Y, and Z, but have you ever considered, this type of a career or this type of an industry based upon the dialogue that we've had with that
Mhm.
individual? So a really good recruiter is really listening and witnessing you and processing and absorbing who you are and what you bring to the table and what you offer and offering something unique, right? A new perspective. That's number one. Number two is the majority of our clients and the majority of the searches that we represent are not things that you would see publicly or online.
Mhm.
So many of our searches are confidential. So many of our searches are through in-network, or they're in stealth mode, or things that quite literally, for a variety of reasons, they can't publicize.
Mhm.
So you're really gaining access to the recruiting firm's proprietary network when you are registering with them and working with them.
Mhm.
So it does open up doors that would otherwise remain closed. And they can also really help you refine your presence, your brand, how you're marketing yourself. How do you present, both in terms of your resume, but also in terms of how you're answering questions, how you're telling your story? Can your story be made more engaging? Can your story be made more interesting? Are there certain things that you're saying that are detracting from your answers, that things that you should weed out? A good recruiter will do all of these things for you. It's an extremely consultative and intensive process if it's done well. And not everyone does well,
Mhm.
but if it's done well, that's the kind of experience that you can expect to have.
Mhm. And I just want to make it clear. So a recruiting firm does help with all that. They help with the resumes, the cover letters, but as well as the things that aren't written on paper, right? It's practicing that storytelling aspect of it, right?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. And a good recruiting firm will they'll preview things with you. They'll say, okay, well, what questions are you planning to ask the interviewer when you meet with
Mhm.
them? Yeah, that's not a good question. Why don't you let us handle that question? I'd like for you to use this time to
Mhm.
ask more impactful questions or questions
Mhm.
that are going to be, more that are going to demonstrate your intelligence more or
Mhm.
things like that, right? So they'll challenge you and they'll really help you show up in your best light.
And kind of on that topic of resumes and cover letters, do you have any advice for crafting a resume in today's kind of job market? Anything you think should be included versus discarded nowadays?
Do I ever? Yes, I do. I think first and foremost, it's tailor, 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 right? So I always say we don't want to hear your whole story. We want to hear the most relevant part of your story, right? So it's really about focusing what you've done, focusing who you are on what that employer is looking for. And the employer is always giving you clues, but it's up to you to really pick up on them. So I encourage people to really digest the language of the job description, digest the language of their website, because these words are chosen with care, right? Like really SEO your resume. You want to embed those similar words and similar language so that it appears like you are exactly what that employer is looking for, right? You have all of those same types of experiences and vernacular in in how you're presenting yourself. So that's pretty key. I would say definitely no more than 2 pages as far as length goes. And that holds even if you're a, 25-year, 30-year career veteran. At some point, those earlier experiences need to fall off your resume, or they can be mentioned as a one-liner if absolutely necessary. But for the most part, it's really only the last 10 or 15 years of your history that people are interested with anyway. So I would be more concise about that. I don't really see cover letters being a thing. And now I am biased by the industries that we service, which are mainly, private industry, professional services, venture capital, tech, private equity. Like I can largely say that those industries don't ever ask for cover letters. That might be different in other industries, but what in the roles that we service, they're pretty much obsolete. Instead, I would say that employers are doing things like take-home case studies, take-home evaluations, behavioral interview questions, impromptu case studies, impromptu presentations. I think those are where people are putting emphasis and not really on a static cover letter.